I am I am expecting an extensive breakdown of how I am meant to prepare for JAMB. I aim to pass my JAMB in one sitting. Okay, so I'm hoping and expecting an extensive breakdown of how I am meant to study and prepare for JAMB. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for making it brief and straight to the point. And because it's good to have expectations. So thank you for that. It means you came prepared, and I am guessing that you are with your pen and jotter to take notes when our speaker starts delivering their insightful sessions. So I'll take one more person. Who else wants to speak like Innocent just did? So I'll note you back now. Okay. So who else wants to speak? You can just indicate if you want to speak. Okay, Josephine said I. Let me see. Josephine. Okay.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm Josephine from Lagos State, and I expect to get all the necessary information to prepare for JAMB.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you. And so I'm guessing that Innocent and Josephine, now I know your names, have reflected the expectations of most of us on the call. So that said, we'll go straight into the sessions. So you can still continue dropping, if you have questions or you haven't introduced yourself, you can drop it on the group. So I'll also be following there, and I can just mention, shout out to you from time to time. So right now we'll be going into our first session by our very first guest speaker, which is Mr. Emmanuel. So I'll be going ahead to read Mr. Emmanuel's profile, and then would give him the mic. So our very first speaker is Mr. Emmanuel Onu. He's a UTME expert tutor. So Emmanuel Onu is a graduate of mathematics education from the University of Ibadan, Oyo State. He is a dedicated teacher and specialized coach in SSCE, JAMB, and GCE, with extensive experience in both physical and online learning environments. In addition, Emmanuel is a certified social media manager and writer, and the author of inspirational and faith-based books, including Believing in Yourself and The Crying of Many Generations. He also serves as a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. So with a lot of emoji, clapping emoji, celebration emoji, let us invite Mr. Emmanuel Onu as he takes us on the first session, which is understanding how the UTME works. Everything you need to know about the UTME. Okay, so I can see some clap in the chat. So, Mr. Emmanuel, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Good evening, everyone. All right. I want to thank you, Ms. Grace Ndogo, for the opportunity, and to everyone. I want to thank you, everyone, for this opportunity, especially Ms. Grace Ndogo. Thank you very much, and everybody present. I believe strongly that this seminar tonight will change the mindset of all our students that are preparing for 2026 JAMB. And I'm very, very sure after now, you know how to prepare better. So without wasting time, I'll be teaching or taking us through the topic, understanding the UTME structure, the might, and smart preparation strategy. We are all aware that a lot of students fail not because they did not read, but there are a lot of factors that make them to fail the examination, this JAMB in the part of our country here. And that is one of the reasons why this is organized so that it can help our students that will be writing the JAMB. So to start with, let's look at why many students fail the UTME examination. There might be a lot of reasons, can be personal, a lot, but few of those reasons why students fail include number one, many students read hard but prepare wrongly. Now, this simply means students prepare actually, but they read in such a way that not go in line with this examination. Uh, the recent jam, this last jam that one of my students, he read and read and read and read, and he was like, sir, he don't think he is going to, come up with a very good stuff. And I was, why do you think so? What are you preparing with? Like, what do you read with? How do you read? And by the time he shared with me, I told him, this is not uh, job interview you are going for. You don't need all those materials. So this is to buttress the fact that a lot of students read hard, but they prepare wrongly. You see, most jam students, they are reading without jam series. They prepare without necessary materials that will help them. They will read or prepare without people that have the knowledge of how this exam works. And this makes them to read but still prepare wrongly. Then number two thing that is responsible for this is lack of understanding of how the examination works. I will explain this better as we progress. This lack of understanding has made a lot of students to perform beyond expectations. In just the concluded exam also this last year, I had three students that sat for the exam, and one of them came back and said if he had known, he would have focused more on some of the patterns that he practiced like 2 days to the exam. So at least that makes her to know that it is not about reading. There is need to understand how the exam works. Another thing we need to have in mind is most students believe in rumors and misconceptions. Rumors like JAMB is difficult, rumors like nobody passed JAMB more than 200, rumors like the examiners, they face students, rumors like, in fact, JAMB is one of the most difficult exams in the country. You don't need to believe all this. You don't need to believe all this because if you believe all of this, you will not focus on what you need to do. Then another reason for this is poor time management during the examination. And a lot of students have issues. A lot of students have issues with poor time management, especially uh, since JAM started practicing computer based. Most students, the fear of handling uh, system, the fear of what to do as they face the system, the fear of what if I fail, the fear of what if I don't do well, overcrowd them, and they begin to go in a very wrong way such that they don't handle their time well again. So proper time management is very, very essential as if you are preparing for this uh, exam in this year. Another thing that we need to know under this is that you don't just need to prepare for the exam. You must have the understanding, the mechanics that make the exam to work. It will give you an advantage over uh, other people. Now, I have a testimony of one of my students. He started preparing for JAMB just a month, and he came out with 250 just in this examination JAMB last year. And I was asking him, okay, tell me more. I'm interested. And he was like, he started reading with series, he joined some on JAMB classes, he practiced questions that come as often and how to manage. I said, good. You don't read for a year, for 6 months, for 3 months, but because he faced the target, he was able to pass excellently. Now, we, because of time, let me quickly go into what is the UTME, what is the meaning, what does it stand for? It means Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, which is organized by JAMB, conducted as a computer-based test. And this is examination that is used for admission into Nigeria tertiary institutions, that is nationwide. I'm trying to manage my time. Let's go forward. The next slide, please. The subject structure for JAMB. Each student is to sit for 4 subjects. English language is compulsory. English language is compulsory. Then you have choice for other 3 subjects. And these other 3 subjects, it depends on your choice of study. For instance, if you are going for engineering as a science student, English is compulsory, mathematics, physics, and then chemistry. Then for students that art students, English is compulsory, then they can choose literature, government, CRA. Then the number of questions. JAMB have 4 subjects, and each of these subjects, English is 60 questions. English language is 60 questions. While other 3 subjects are 40 questions. That means the total question you are expected to answer during this examination is 180 questions in all. And all these questions are objective. They are multiple choice, so you can choose the best option that you feel like. And they are all ABC based. Then time allocation. The total exam time is 2 hours. Imagine you are to answer 180 questions within 2 hours. That means you have less than a minute. You have less than a minute to answer a particular question. And that is why you have to manage your time very well. Then your speed and accuracy are very, very important. You must practice answering questions under time pressure. Even when the time is not there, you must practice very well to ensure that you meet up with the time. Then the CBT exam mechanic. Questions appear on a computer screen. It doesn't matter if you are expert or not, but you must have the ability to move forward and backward. That is your mouse. Then you have to skip and return questions. And then you have to review before submission. This review before submission, please, is very, very important. A lot of students have this issue. They just they will just submit without a review, and these have made a lot of students not to perform to their expectation. Some students don't even save answers; they just answer and just move to the next one, which is not good enough. So it is very, very important that you need to review your question before you submit. And one more thing is that the ability to navigate uh, the computer. You just have to know how to make use of your mouth so that you'll be able to answer your question safely and then review before you submit. Next one, the scoring system. The scoring system is very, very unique. Very, very unique. Uh, each subject is marked over 100. Each subject is marked over 100. And since it's four subjects, that is total of 400. Total of 400. So, and thank God, since it's CBT, there's a standardized scoring method. Standardized scoring method. And also, when you fail a question, when you fail a question, no negative marking for wrong answers. No, some students have this belief that if they fail question, they used to deduct that question from the correct course. That is very, very wrong. JAMB did not do that. So there's no negative marking for wrong answers. All you need, your accuracy matters more than answering everything. If it is, if it is out of that 40 questions, if it is only 30 you can answer, and you are very sure of those 30, it's better than wasting your time going through all the 40 that you are not very sure of that. So what then? The question pattern. Question pattern. Questions are drawn strictly from the JAMB syllabus, and that is why I emphasize so much on the use of JAMB syllabus. Very, very important. And this focus on the understanding, the application, the speed. Then the use of English includes the comprehension, the grammar, the oral form, and then the literature text that are given to each candidate for the examination. Please don't joke with your literature text. A lot of questions usually come from there. Then misconceptions. What are the misconceptions that students have about JAMB? Some students will tell you that JAMB is love, JAMB you don't even need to read. If you can just close your eyes and open it and you pick an answer and then you just pass. No, that is very, very wrong. Those are the misconceptions. So JAMB is luck based is not true. All questions carry equal marks. It's not also true. There are some questions that attract more marks than others. I must answer all questions. No, you don't need to answer all questions. JAMB repeat questions word for word. That is not true. Failing once means I'm not intelligent. That is not also true. That you fail once doesn't mean that you are not intelligent. You need the right information and to be in the right to be among the right people just for you to pass. Then what is the truth behind the misconception? The truth behind the misconception. Number one, they usually reward strategy and preparation. Yes, your preparation is very, very important and the strategy that you use. And that is why I try to emphasize that from now, if you are ready to write JAM, you should get a very good teacher that is expert in JAM, that knows questions that come out often. Get your necessary materials and read. Some questions weigh more than others. That is very, very correct. Then accuracy beats quantity. This means that even if it is 30 questions you answer correctly out of 40, you are good to go. Then concept repeat, not exact question. Yes, over some years now, JAMB don't repeat exact question word for word. They they change it in a little bit, or sometimes the options change, sometimes the numbers change, and sometimes it looks very, very similar. And that is the reason why you need to, go through all your syllables very, very well. Then the exam text exam skills, not intelligence alone. JAMB try to test your skills, not just how intelligent you are. And that is why most students fail because they don't pay attention to the skills. They only want to pass. Why understanding matters? Why understanding the exam matters. Number one, when you understand the exam, it helps you to study the right topic. For instance, one of my students in last year covered about 10 to 15 topics and he scored 230. Just 10 to 15 topics. So understanding the exam also improve your time management because the more you practice, when you any question you practice and come out, you will not waste your time on it again. So it is very, very important. Then practice will reduce your fear and your and exam anxiety. When you are fully prepared, you have nothing to be afraid of. So it is very, very important. Then it will prevent costly mistakes such as how to handle your mouth, how to uh, exam phobia, and all those things. It will help you to overcome them. Then it boosts your confidence and then your performance. Very, very important. Then let's now look at the smart preparation strategy. The smart preparation strategy, as you are preparing for this year exam, it is very, very important that you use this smart preparation strategy. Number one, use the JAMB syllabus. Number two, study strictly within the syllabus. Number three, avoid random reading. Don't just read randomly. Read with focus. Read with the syllabus. Use your past questions. Use related questions. Practice them. Then focus on frequently tested topics. That can help you a lot. Then smart preparation strategy 2. Smart preparation strategy 2. You need to practice CBT questions. Yes, very, very important. It helps many students. You go practice CBT questions, and there are several ways you can do that. There are several ways you can do that. Use past questions regularly. After that, then practice with a timer. From here, with experience, I can tell you that if you practice CBT questions and you score 200 3 times, when you write JAMB, your score will revolve around that 200. So, and if you practice with a timer and as you are doing the CBT question, you discover that maybe at the end of the day, you finish before time. When you go for the re-exam, the same thing will happen because you have been practicing it. Get comfortable with screen reading. Don't be panic when you are reading from the computer screen. Be comfortable. Then, strategy 3, manage your time very, very well. Don't spend too long on one question. If the question seems to be difficult, please go to the next question. You can always come back to that difficult question. That will help you to save your time. Then, skip difficult ones and return later. Always watch the timer. Very, very important. Then, how do you strengthen the use of English? The use of English. English affects overall performance. Very, very important. If you perform very well in English, it will boost your score. So that is why you have to pay attention to that use of English. Very, very important. Practice, practice enough comprehension, oral, and then other parts of the English as related to the syllabus. Your comprehension speed matter. The ability to read fast and comprehend and then answer is very, very important. Then your grammar rules, you have to follow it strategically. Then the novel summaries and the things that is given to you is very, very important. Exam day mistake to avoid. Some of the mistakes that you need to avoid when you go for JAMB exam. You see, there are a lot of pressures that come with when that day come. My exam is tomorrow. I'm going to Badagry to write exam. You are just full of pressures and all these things. You must avoid this mistake. Number one, do not rush because others are fast. You know, rushing because others are fast is a serious mistake that affects others. Some students will be in the exam hall, they will just be looking around. This person has submitted, this one has submitted, and they will just take their questions and just go out, even when they have not done anything. So panicking when questions look strange. When you meet difficult questions, just relax and encourage yourself. Don't be panicked. Submitting early without review, please don't make that mistake. Make sure you review your questions. Ignoring unanswered questions. You just ignore this one. It's by luck, I will pass. It's by luck. You just ignore it. No, please don't do that. And then my final advice to candidates this year, I want you to know that JAMB is not designed to fail you. No. Your preparation and your understanding will guarantee your success. I know most students will like prayers much. It's good you pray. Yes, yes. It's good. I believe in prayer so much. But don't just pray without preparing. Please. Practice smart and not just hard. Practice smart in the sense that use take your CBT question serious, take your past question serious, any tutorial you are receiving, take it serious, and ensure that you keep that going until you finish the exam. Confidence grows with familiarity. That, that means that the more you are practicing, you have confidence. And when you become familiar with those questions, you have that confidence, and before you know, you pass very well. Then conclusion, if you understand the exam will not confuse you. Prepare with knowledge, prepare with strategy, and prepare with confidence. And I wish you the very best. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
I was muted. Okay. So I expect to be seeing emojis already everywhere. How was that session? Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that very detailed session. Okay, I'm waiting for the emojis. I'm waiting for the responses. Thank you so much, sir, for that. You really broke down the how the UTME works and went further to give us strategies on how we can prepare for the exam. I mean, how the students here can prepare for the exam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before we move into the second session, I just want to get some feedback. What is one or two things that stood out for you from Mr. Emmanuel's session that you'd be taking away, that you'd be using to refine your preparation, that you'll be using to modify your strategy? I wrote down some things also, and I'm not taking JAMB, so I expect that you also wrote down something. So type them in the chat. You can type them here. I'm checking. You can also type them on the group. I'm also following. So I want to see one or two things you learned from that session. Something you probably didn't know before, or something you already knew, but the fact that you emphasized it just made it clearer for you, or just reminded you of that, and you'll be using that to aid your preparation or to refine your preparation. I'm not seeing responses. I'm not seeing anything. What is one or two things you learned? We have just 2 minutes to do this. Why am I not getting responses? You didn't learn anything? Were you listening, or you were sleeping, or you were on WhatsApp? Tell me the truth. I'm waiting for responses. Okay, so I'm seeing from the group, Debbie says, Debbie says, what stood out for me was the part that it made it clear to focus more on the JAMB syllabus. Exactly. So that is very important. That also stood out for me, and it reminded me that when I was preparing for JAMB during my time, right, that was around 2017. Yeah, 2017. I did not download the JAMB syllabus. I don't think I knew anything like that. I just used past questions. So who knew? If I downloaded the JAMB syllabus, maybe I would have gotten really high. I had 262. So the thing is, even though you are doing well, you are probably at a certain stage. When you augment what you are currently doing with more correct strategies, it just boosts your scores. It just boosts your score. And a higher score is always better than an average score. I mean, 350 is better than 330, in the numbering sense. So yeah, if I had known that, maybe I would have gotten higher. I never knew to download the JAMB syllabus. I was just probably using my scheme of work from class. So that's very important. And now you know that. What else? Okay, Clint Wright said the same thing. But I want to ask, can we also focus on JAMB question? Of course. And just to note, we'll get to the question and answer session at the end of all the sessions. So we have about 4 sessions for you. We've just had one. So we'll do Q&A at the end. So stay to the end to ask all your questions. I know the speakers will be here to reply you. So do not jump off the call. Do not sleep off. Okay, so Precious said, what stood out for me is that it made it clear that I should not focus on only one subject. Okay. Josephine said, what also stood out for me was working with speed and confidence and understanding the JAMB syllabus. Also, I learned that as a 2026 JAMB participant, I have to be specific while reading. I have to use, okay, so I think that JAMB syllabus was very clear. Also watching the time during the time, also watching the time of writing the exam also. So something that stood out for me was the fact that he said accuracy beats quantity. Accuracy beats quantity. There's no such thing as negative marking, and you should focus on getting more answers correct than getting all the answers answered. I don't know a better way to say that right now. I mean, you should focus on getting more answers correct than answering all the questions, right? So rather than saying, oh, you must answer all the questions, it's good. It's best not to leave any question blank, because who knows, even if you are not sure of the answer, it's better to just pick, actually there's something we call intelligent guessing, but it's better to pick an option than to leave it blank totally. If you leave it blank, then you don't even have a chance at getting it. But if you pick an answer through intelligent guessing based on how much you've read, you may have a chance that could be the correct answer. But for those ones you are not sure, it's fine. Rather focus on getting as much answers correct as possible, especially in the calculation area. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Emmanuel. And right now we'll be going on to the next session, which is by Mr. Jerry. So I would go on to read Mr. Jerry's profile and would hand him the mic. So meet our speaker, Jeremiah Samuel Opeyemi. Jeremiah Samuel Opeyemi is a pharmacist and an exceptional academic achiever who graduated as the best graduating student from the Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Lagos, Nigeria. His academic journey is marked by discipline, consistency, and a strong commitment to excellence. Beyond his personal achievements, Jeremiah is deeply passionate about education and student development. He has spent time mentoring and guiding students, helping them make informed decisions about their academic paths and career goals. Drawing from his own experiences, he simplifies complex learning processes and encourages students to adopt effective study habits that lead to long-term success. Driven by a desire to see young people thrive, Jeremiah is committed to inspiring students to aim higher, study, stay focused, and pursue excellence with clarity and confidence. So let us welcome Mr. Jerry as Mr. Jeremiah, as he would be taking us on the session of understanding your JAMB, understanding university choices based on before choosing your JAMB subject combinations. So Mr. Jerry, over to you. I should be seeing emojis right now. Mr. Jerry just graduated at the, okay, right. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. If it's possible to share your video, that would be nice.
Oh,
If not,
okay.
it's okay.
Okay, I'm having issues sharing my video. Let's just go with the screen. All right. Good evening, gifted brains. So, as our host has introduced me, I'm pharmacist Jeremiah Samuel, and I will be speaking on what to know about university courses before choosing JAMB subjects. So, first of all, I'd like to commend Mr. Emmanuel. He really did a good job directing you on how to prepare for your exam, how to write your exam. It was so awesome. It was so awesome. So, mine is not exactly talking about how to write the exam, right? I'm talking about the choices that go into choosing a particular course, right? So, writing JAMB is one of the biggest life decisions that you will make at this point because whatever you choose to write in JAMB will determine what you get to study in the university, will determine the kind of career opportunities that are open to you afterwards. Okay, I'm talking about the next slide now. Yeah, will determine what is open to you afterwards. Okay, so the things I have to say may sound a bit harsh, but like I said, I'm talking about the choices that go into selecting the course that you want to study. Okay, so many students think that JAMB is just about, oh, everybody's writing JAMB, I want to write JAMB. So you just write JAMB because every other person is writing JAMB. Okay, you jump into it, take it as an exam without looking deep into the fact that JAMB is actually a gatekeeper to your future career. Yes, and like I said, it's a major life decision. So the essence of this session and the things I'm going to be sharing is not to scare you, is to help you avoid making certain mistakes and also to guide the choices that you make regarding choosing the course you want to study before registering for JAMB. Okay, next slide. So the first thing that you must know is the course subjects that you've been doing since secondary school that pertain to the particular course that you want to study. So as you can see on your screen, it says university courses are advanced versions of your JAMB subjects, basically. So now, it's now a question to ask a person, what subjects are you doing? What subjects are you going to write in JAMB? If you say you want to study, let's say, pharmacy, if you say you want to study medicine, what subjects are you going to be writing? What courses are you going to be writing in JAMB? Okay. Now, so many people just love the idea of, oh, I'm going to study medicine, oh, I'm going to study law, I want to be this, I want to study that and that. But then you have to also look at the course subjects that are involved that make up that particular course. For example, now, for engineering, yeah, I think that's the example that I gave here. For engineering, you'll be dealing with, for JAMB, you write English, maths, physics, English, maths, physics. Yes, maths and physics are the core subjects in engineering in JAMB, right? So now, of course, what would determine if you are going to choose engineering, depending on the kind of engineering, is your strength in physics and your strength in maths. So if you are the kind that, oh, your dad is saying, I want to be Baba engineer, but then you know that once they mention physics, you disappear on the spot, right? You know that that is not a choice for you. That's not a choice you should choose. So what I'm trying to say here is understanding the courses, that the subjects that are under a particular course would help you to know if that is actually a valid course for you. For example, now, from the school where I graduated from, we had cases of people that many times during their journey in medical school, that's in medicine, for example, medicine and surgery, there are times when they'll start going down and tired and depressed because biology is not their thing. They are more of the calculation kind of science kind of person, right? So, like I said, knowing your strengths would direct you on what courses that you should choose, basically. Okay, next slide. So the next slide basically talks about what I said about engineering, that engineering is built on mathematics and physics, right? And another thing that is very, very important, like I said, I'm talking about choices and decisions that will guide you, that will protect your admission in the sense that getting a high JAMB score is not enough. Certain things also have to still be in place. Like, for example, the courses that you put in for in JAMB, it has to be in agreement with the courses that you put in for in WAEC. So let's say in your WAEC now, for example, I think further maths is one of the requirements. If you say you want to study engineering, it's important that you have further maths in your WAEC. Or let's say you want to study architecture, it's important that you have some form of technical drawing, that's a TD, in your WAEC, right? Now, the example of engineering that I gave, you don't have further maths in your WAEC, but you registered for engineering in JAMB. You see that? So basically, that thing that would not that would affect in the long run when the university is trying to screen your WAEC against your JAMB and all those things. So take note: the courses you chose in what you wrote in WAEC must be in alignment with what the course you are picking in JAMB, basically. All right. So, and to make this very, very easy for us, the link you can see on the screen, it will be shared to you. The link will be shared to you. That link actually shows the subject combinations for all the courses that JAMB has to offer. So you see for engineering, you see for different types of engineering, electrical engineering, you see for medicine, pharmacy, the subject combinations. English is a constant, you know. So, like for pharmacy now, that the one I did, English is a constant. Then you now choose biology, physics, and chemistry. That's for JAMB. So make sure you know your subject combinations. Is very, very important. Now you might expect that when you go and register at the cyber cafe, they can tell you, oh, this is what you should choose, this is what you should choose. But make sure you check it now. Like once the link is shared to the group, please make sure you check it. Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so I already explained this. It seems I'm talking ahead of what I have on the screen. Okay, so I already explained that, where I said that high JAMB score does not exactly guarantee admission alone if the subject combination is wrong. Like I said, wrong JAMB subject combinations can block the admission. Yes. So, and I also emphasized on the fact that your WAEC subject must match your JAMB courses. Okay. Yes. So it's very, very important. Yes. Let's go to the next slide. Now, let's look at some very costly mistakes that students make. Some very costly mistakes that students make while choosing their courses for JAMB. Now, the very first one you can see there is choosing courses based on parental pressure or trends from friends. Oh, everybody's choosing medicine. Everybody's choosing medicine. I remember at the time when I was still in secondary school, or okay, let's say primary school, the late primary school, early secondary school. You ask everybody, what do you want to be? Doctor. What do you want to be? Doctor. What do you want to be? Doctor. Meanwhile, that is mostly because most people don't know what they wanted to do at the time. Now, you're at a phase where you have to make a decision, a standing decision. This is what I want to do with my life. This is what I'm going to do with my life. Now, we have people that sometimes they already know themselves. They are, I don't want to say mental capacity now. I don't say mental capacity. The academic capacity, basically, the academic stamina is not up to that point where they will study some very, very, very strenuous tasking courses. You know your capability, you know what you can do, basically, right? So if what you can do is not medicine, like based on your academic history, if you are not the kind that, oh, you are built for that stress of medicine, because believe me, medicine is very stressful, and then your mom is saying, oh, I want to be mama doctor, I want to be mama this, and so they choose the courses for you. Now, I'm not saying parents cannot choose for you. I'm not saying they cannot direct you, right? Your parents, to a good extent, they are more informed than you. Now, you also have to be sure that they are informed, because not all parents are informed, okay? So, I want to be Baba engineer, I want to be Baba doctor. Please, measure your academic capacity. Look at what you've been able to handle from the onset, right? So you don't pick something that At the end of the day, you'll be the one facing it in the university, and then you are regretting, how come? How did I pick this course? Do you get what I'm saying? Also, don't pick courses because of trends, as per, oh, my friends, that's what my friend is going to school to study. Check your strengths, measure your academic strengths and your weaknesses, right? And then that will direct you on knowing if you can choose a particular course or not. So that's one. And another mistake most people make is not researching the actual course content. I already spoke about this where I said, oh, you want to register for engineering. You do not seek out the core subjects that are involved in engineering. You have to actually check those things. Check it against your WIEC, check it against your JAMB to be sure that you have the right subject combinations. Okay, the next one is choosing courses only by attractive titles. What does that mean? Oh, I want to study psychology. Oh, I want to study sociology. I want to study this. Oh, I like theater arts. Oh, I like this and this and that. Now, at this stage you are in, you might not understand the implication of choosing certain courses. But the aim of going to school to study is not for the fun of, oh, I went to school. It's not for the fun of stimulating your brain. No, it's not for that. It's so that at the end of the day, you have a degree that can put food on the table and buy the Lambo at the end of the day, right? So, at this point in time, you might not be very informed on the future prospects of some of the courses that you're going to choose. But I will still talk about that in like the next 2 slides very soon. So let's wait for that till I get there. Okay, so I'll jump to the next 2 points, which is not considering the heavy financial burden of courses. Now, like I said, I'm talking about choices. When it comes to choosing a course to study, you must not neglect the financial aspect of it. Some courses are very, very expensive to run, to fund in school. There are some that are not demanding much money at all, right? A course like medicine now, you will spend on lab fees, field work, projects, materials, your surgical kits, you spend on professional exams, this and that. Same for pharmacy, same for law to an extent also, right? So I'm not saying that you should make money a limitation. I'm just saying you should be aware. Money should not limit you, right? But you should be aware that, oh, these courses are going to be tasking. The essence of this is mental preparation ahead of time so that you know, oh, by the time I get into this field, this is basically what I'm going to be expecting. Okay, we can go to the next slide now. Do not choose a course because you want to enter school quickly. No. So this happens very often. As our host said, we have people here that probably this is not your first time writing JAMB, maybe it's the second time and all. We have situations of people that have written JAMB like 4 or 5 times, and then at the 5th time, maybe they've been putting in for medicine, they've not been getting it. And then the 5th time, they now give them a course like maybe Yoruba technology or something. And then you're like, oh, finally, I gained admission. You want to just jump into school to study. Such is not advised, okay? Like I said, you have to look at the end goal. It's not just about going to school to waste 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. Just always look at the end goal. Okay, so the next thing or the last thing is not checking university accreditation for that course. So I'm this kind of person that I like to save the best information for the last. There is something called university accreditation. Please pay attention. University accreditation means that a particular university has been given permission by the educational board to teach a particular course to students. What does that mean? So it means this university is offering this course. Okay, let me give you an instance. So the year I gained admission, I think that was 20, I can't remember. But basically the year I gained admission, a huge number of people put in for dentistry. Now, unknown to them that the school did not have strong accreditation for dentistry, which means the school was not yet on that level of standards that they could teach dentistry to students. So by the time they did post UTME and then admission list came out, it now became became glaring to them that the school did not even have accreditation for dentistry. So they packed all of them from dentistry to pharmacy. All of them from dentistry to pharmacy. Look at that switch in destiny. You see what I'm saying? Look at that switch in direction. So till they finished, they could not leave pharmacy. They finished in pharmacy, right? So what am I saying? Always try to confirm, how has this school's accreditation for maybe law, how has their law been? Are they just starting out? Are they verified per se? So make sure you consider all those things. Try and do your research. And one of the best places to ask is the cyber cafe, where you, or the registration accreditation center, where you register for your JAMB. Yeah, that's what we call them. Okay. So next slide now. I just want to talk a bit. This is the last thing I'm talking about future prospects and the time that you invest in them. Basically, we're still talking about choices. Some courses you go to school to study, like law, theater arts, English language, education, 4 years courses. There are some courses that are 5 years courses, like dentistry is 6 years, pharmacy, law is 5 years, nursing is 5 years. We have so many. Engineering is 5 years too, right? But then we have 6 years courses like medicine and dentistry. I think those are the only two. Now, looking at these things from now till their future prospects means, what is the long-term goal, right? So some courses, by the time you are done, some courses will offer you quick jobs, but the pay might not be much. Like, let's say you go to school to study mathematics education. I don't think people put in for those things in the initial stages, but maybe you put in for like pharmacy and then you didn't get it. They now give you math education. You now take it. You should be looking at the end goal, right? You look at the end goal. Okay, well, by the time you come out, you already know you're going to be a teacher and all those things, right? Except maybe you start a business or something. So some courses will offer you jobs immediately you are done. For example, education is one of those. Also, I want to give you that little bit of spice and orientation that will spark curiosity in your mind, so you can start asking the important questions. Take note of this. I'm saying, oh, medicine is a 6 years course. By the time I come out, I'm going to be collecting the big money. Nope. Law is a 5 years course. By the time I come out, I'm going to be a good lawyer. Nope. I'm trying to create curiosity in your mind now, so that either now or when you get to school, you will be asking valid questions to know steps that you will take to get you prepared before you graduate. So I said there that other courses require postgraduate studies, which means other courses require that you take a step further. Before you can start earning some very good amount of money. Like, for example, I want to go to school to study medicine. I want to go to school to study medicine. By the time you get there, you spend 6 years. At the end of those 6 years, you are just a junior doctor, general doctor, basically, right? You're not a specialist, you're not a consultant, anything, just a general doctor. Your money is probably like 300K or thereabouts, or 250K or thereabouts. Now, by the time you are done, most people will now do 2 years of residency. Then after that, they would now go on to do like 10 to 15 years again of specialization in maybe neurosurgery or pediatrics or blah, 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 like that. Now, it's not just in the medical area. There's also law too. By the time you finish 5 years in law, you're not just coming out immediately to become a lawyer. Nope. You're still going to have to go to law school, Nigeria law school. You have to take the bar exams before you can now say you practice. That's another few years. So I'm saying these things so that it will incite some form of curiosity in your mind, so you can go and start asking the right question. Now, some people also say that, there's connection. If they give me, maybe they give me Yoruba technology, or they give me, I don't know, any funny course like that. And then you're like, oh, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Let me try enter school. By the time I'm done, I will see his connection to get, okay, I'm not downplaying the fact that there's connection, right? But I want you to know that relying on connection alone is risky. Not everybody gets to benefit from that. So instead, when you gain admission into a course that you did not want initially, and then you decide to go further with it, what you should have in mind is, what are the things I have to start doing from now, so that by the time I come out into the real world, I will be of valid contribution, right? So now, some of these things you would not fully gain, like I said, you not fully understand them properly now. But as you proceed, I'm just trying to create curiosity in your mind. As you proceed into school and all those things, you will start asking valid questions, and it becomes clearer as you proceed. So now, what are some questions? I'm on the next slide. What are some questions you must ask yourself before choosing a course? You want to ask yourself, what can I do with this course after graduation? And actually, it's not even yourself you're asking. You should ask someone that's gone ahead of you. Okay? Ask someone that has gone ahead of you, right? Someone that has gone to the university, like maybe, okay, like our host, for example, would have valid contributions, valid advice to give to you because she has gone ahead of you. So ask questions so that you don't end up doing a course like maybe Yoruba technology and expect that you're making billions. Do you get what I'm saying? So ask those questions. The next thing is, what extra skill or qualification will I need to make me more marketable with this course? Now, somebody says, oh, I want to go into tech. So you go to school to study computer science. Okay, you have the degree in computer science, but can you contribute actively to a computer firm, like a tech firm, basically? So when you're getting into school, one thing you should have at the back of your mind is, by the time you're coming out, you want to be rounded in your field of study to a good extent. So there are some extra skills that you would need to add. So you ask those questions. Next thing is this course aligned with what the real world demands? That's important for you to ask when you are choosing a course. And lastly, can I handle the academic pressure of this course? Very important. Can you handle the academic pressure of that course? Yeah. So very, very important. And my final guidelines that I would like to give to you, I'm on the last slide. My final practical guidelines for you is, understand your chosen course truly. Okay, understand what your chosen course truly involves, which means know your course combinations, know what your course basically is talking about, right? So I have friends that chose pharmacy without understanding what pharmacy was. It was when we were in school they later understood. So as much as possible, you might not get the full picture now, but try and know what the course your mom is telling you to study is about, or what the course your friend is telling you to study. Just know what it's about before you register it. Also, match your course choices with your academic strength. Know what you've been capable of. Also, confirm that your WAEC and JAMB are in line with each other and with the course you want to study. And also confirm university accreditation. Very important. That one is very important. Lastly, choose a course or path that you can complete and that you can benefit from, which means the monetary aspect of it. As much as possible, a course that can be rewarding at the end of the day. Okay, so choose very wisely. Yeah, and that's what I have to give to you. I hope you've been able to learn one or two or gain one or two insights, right? Yeah, thank you for paying good attention.
Wow, 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 wow. Have you learned something? That was a full masterclass. That was a full masterclass. Okay. I'm still waiting for the emojis to come in that you have taken so much away from that session by Mr. Jerry. Thank you so much for that detailed session explaining the implications of different course choices, before the students choose their JAMB subject. Thank you so much. So before we go into the next session, briefly, like we did before, in 2 to 3 minutes, what did you take away from that session, and how would that, what would you do right now from what you've learned? So what would you do with the information you've learned from that session? So it's a good thing this session is coming now before you register for your JAMB. So what would you do, or how has it changed your mindset a bit? This is very important. What Mr. Jerry shared is very important. So let's hear from 1 or 2 persons. I'm also okay. I like the energy. So Clint Wright has already said, I like the parts where he emphasized on accredited university. Okay, you would note the question. The question would come at the end of all the sessions to make sure the university you are going to is accredited. Exactly. So now you know, probably you didn't know the meaning of accreditation before, now you know. Very important to check. And don't say, some schools will promise you that, oh, they will accredit the course before you finish, before you get to 400 level, before you graduate. That's also very risky. That's also very risky. Imagine the example he gave. Wow, that all the students that registered for dentistry, dentistry is different from pharmacy now. Every one of them had to graduate with pharmacy because the course was not accredited, and they probably didn't, probably just thinking that, oh, it's Unilag. So even for big federal universities, you have to ensure that it is accredited, let alone, private universities or smaller state universities or other sort of institutions. You have to ask questions, you can reach students in the schools, things like that, to make sure it is accredited. Is it only Clint Wright that got something from this session? Okay, I learned that you must know the subject combination for the course. Exactly. And I dropped that link. The link is shared in a slide. I've dropped it in the chat, so you can check that out. Focus on future prospects of courses you choose and look for skills to monetize your courses. Exactly. So I do not think that, Mr. Jerry was still being soft with the way he was addressing some of these things, so that it will not scare you, which is also very important, because the goal is not to scare you. The goal is to make you aware. But also, I do not, for some of you are already learning trade. Some of you are already doing some part-time jobs. Some of you are already trying to learn some online skills like graphic design. If I ask some of you to introduce yourself now, I may be hearing that many of you are graphic designers. What else? I think graphic design is a very popular one. Or some digital skill, or you're learning to code because of some of the things you've seen online. So what that means is that you already know that money is important. You want to make money. So you have to also be aware of that when you are choosing your courses. What are the future prospects of your courses? So this session is to encourage you, like you said, to spark that curiosity in you, to do your research before you do any course. Even if you eventually have to take a course that you probably did not initially want to take, do your research so that you know what you can start doing to make the most of that. So awesome. Thank you so much once again. We learned a lot. Okay. I learned that university courses are advanced version of our JAMB subject. Exactly. Your JAMB and WAEC subjects, not just the JAMB. So thank you so much, Mr. Jerry, for that very insightful session. So kindly, you can send your questions to the group. We would address all the questions and answers at the end of all the sessions. So we have 2 sessions to go, and stay tuned. Do not leave. If not, you would miss out, and you won't be able to ask your questions. So moving on to the next session, I'll be the one taking the next session. So I will go ahead to share my screen now. Sorry, I'm trying to share. Okay, so can you see my screen? I think you should be able to see my screen. Can you see my screen? Let me just know that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Please, can you kindly respond in the chat, in the group, that you can see my screen, so that you can see my slide. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I will be speaking on the topic, fail-proof effective method to prepare for JAMB in 12 weeks. And I'll make this very brief so that we can finish on time. So presented by Jesu Gogo, Ennis. So the agenda of this brief session, I would be going through briefly introducing myself, the things you need to know first, time expectations, how to download the JAMB syllabus, and sample of a 12-week plan to effectively prepare for JAMB. So about me, this is my bio, right? I am a graduate of chemistry from Wesley University, and I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in chemistry. I'm also the founder of Gifted Brain Academy, your host for today as well, an educational initiative committed to transforming how students approach learning. I have helped hundreds of students improve academic performance by teaching them how to learn. I've visited, through Gifted Brain, I've visited several secondary schools, equipping students with effective study strategies. I'm also the author of 2 books, so you can get these books online: Diary of a Christian Lady and a widely used super fast ebook, which has been distributed to over 20 secondary schools in Nigeria. So let's move into the agenda, straight into the agenda. So first things first, the first thing you want to do in order to be able to effectively prepare for JAMB in 12 weeks or less. So by 12 weeks is about 3 months, considering that you're probably just starting your intense JAMB preparation this year in January, right? So you have to set your target score for JAMB. Set your target score for JAMB. So why is setting a target score important? It shows you how much effort you must put in to reach that score. When you set a target score, you know that with this score that you have chosen, you have to put in a lot of effort in order to be able to reach that particular score. So if your target score is 200, for example, you may not need to put in so much effort. But if your target score is 400 over 400, for example, you know that you have to put in a lot of effort to reach that score. So it also helps you know which subject needs more effort. It helps you create a realistic timetable. Remember, we're trying to get you an effective 12-week study plan for JAMB. It keeps you motivated and focused when you set your target score, and it allows you measure your progress regularly. So I said here that if you don't set a target, you won't know how hard you need to work, and that's dangerous in JAMB. So right now, you are going to set your target score. So set your, Mr. Emmanuel has taken us through the basics of how the UTME works, how it is scored, and he has explained all of this. So he has explained that the total score you can get on the JAMB is 400, right? So ask yourself now, what do you want to score out of 400? Is it 180, 200, 250, 300, 400? Right? What do you want to score out of 400? So I want to see your responses on the chat. I said write it down, don't keep it in your head. So I want to see your responses in the chat, in the group, preferably. What you want to score, what you want to score out of 300, and I mean 400. Okay, Josephine said 400. That's very ambitious. I want to score 300. Okay, 300 plus. Let me get more responses. 300. Okay, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. Is it just 5 people that are here with me? Is it just Amarachi and Josephine that's here? What do you want to score? Okay, 300 plus. So I'm seeing a lot of 300. That's good. So let's move on to the next. So when you decide to score your target score for JAMB, so this score that you said now, I said write it down. So you've put it here in the chat, which is good, but you also need to write it down. Maybe you can create a wallpaper for it, put it on your phone, or you can paste it on your wall, somewhere that you'll be seeing it regularly. So it sticks throughout this preparation period. It sticks in your head that this score is what I want to get. And the days that you are feeling tired, sleepy, you know that to achieve this score, you have to forfeit sleep. extra sleep and all of that. So when you have set the particular score that you want to get in JAMB, the next thing is to break down that score into the different subjects that you are taking for JAMB. Very important. So you don't just say 400 and leave it like that. No, your goal, your target has to be very specific. It has to be specific. So break down the scores by the subject. So each subject, the highest you can score on the 4 subjects you'll be taking in JAMB is 100, right? So you want to break it down. So for example, this is a sample that I used here. So as English is compulsory, we've already talked about that. English is compulsory for everyone. Everyone is going to take English. So I said my JAMB total score, my target score is 330. Maybe if I was to go back in time to take JAMB again, because I don't want to take JAMB again. I don't want to take JAMB again right now. But if I were to go back in time, and say I want to take JAMB, my target score, I may just say is 330. And assuming I'm taking this subject. So please note, this is an example, because if you look at the way I tried to cover the different tracks so that I'm not only focusing on a particular track, right? So for some of you that don't know, they actually do history in JAMB. So maybe I want to take history, I want to take chemistry, then join it with accounting, and then the use of English. So break down, do yours now according to the subjects you're going to take, the 4 subjects, and quickly break it down. Let me get 2 to 3 responses and we can move forward. So for English, I want to score 80. That's my target score. For accounting, I am very good in accounting and I think I want to get 95. Chemistry, 85, and history, 70. What is your own? 1 or 2 persons, let me see it in the group. I'll give you some time to do that. 30 seconds. Can quickly write it out. What subjects are you taking? And what score exactly do you want to have for each of those subjects over 100? I'm waiting. Okay. Are you following? Who is typing? Okay, I'm seeing some people typing. So when you have written this scores down, when you determine this target score, what you desire to get, what you want to achieve, your aim, or something you dream to get, it's good to dream, right? But you need to write it down and make it clear, make it very specific, so it goes beyond a dream to become a goal. That is what we are trying to achieve here. So I'm still waiting for some of the responses. Once I get 1 or 2, I will move forward. Okay, so Josephine, wow, Josephine has been very active here. I already know Josephine's name. So Josephine's, oh, this is interesting. Josephine said 100. Josephine said 100 for all the subjects. Okay. Modeshola said English 80, government 80, CRS 70, literature 80. Okay. Let me take science students. Clintrite said, no, let me not take Clintrite. Clintrite has been very active. Let me take, all these guys are the same people that have been very active. Okay. So, Adeboyede said, use of English 90, biology 95, chemistry 80, physics 85. Wow. Okay, awesome. So it's important to break these targets down. What it does is that it helps you to be more specific. Now that you've written this in the chat, you should print this and paste it or set it as a wallpaper. The goal is that it should be somewhere you can always see it. You can always see it. I have several things pasted on my wall here so that I can always see it. It's important to always see something. You may decide to put it as a wallpaper on your phone. This is how goal setting works. So let's move on. So once you've done that, now let's move on to talk about the time expectations. So the truth about time and results is that higher scores require more focused time. If you are saying you want to score, everyone here, I think everyone here said they want to score above 300. That is a very good target. In fact, it's good to aim very high. And if at all anything happens, you won't fall below, like you won't fall so far from what you aimed. But if you aim low, then you may just be complacent, you may just be lackadaisical about, lazy about your preparation. But when you aim high, you put in the effort, and who knows, you may even get above what you aimed for or very good scores. So higher scores require more focus time. So if you are saying you want to score above 300, you must know that it requires more focus time. You cannot aim for 250 plus with 1 hour today, 30 minutes tomorrow, nothing next week, that kind of preparation. You can't. Your target score determines your time commitment. So if you're saying you want to score, I even put 250 plus here. If you are then saying you want to score above 300, then you know that you have to commit a lot of time to it. So how does that look like? So the minimum rule for serious students, at least 4 hours every day. So if you check top JAMB scorers and when they talk about the effort that they put into studying for their JAMB in order to score very high, those that scored 350 and above, 330 and above, 300 and above, one common thing, in their preparation strategies that they studied for a lot of hours every day. They dedicated intense time, a lot of time to studying. I was recently watching the video of someone that scored, I think, the highest score in JAMB for last year. I can't remember now. And he was saying he studied for 8 hours every day. 8 hours every day. So his goal right from time was that he wanted to score the highest, right? And he achieved that. So, but you can see that it took effort to do it. So the minimum rule is 4 hours. You can't be doing 2 hours or probably even 3 hours, right? And expect to score so high. Remember, this depends on what you want to score. It depends on your target score, right? So I said here that top performing students do 6 to 8 hours every single day. Not they do 6 hours today, next week they do 1 hour, they sleep all through. The next week they remember again, oh, JAMB is closed, they do another 2 hours. No, 6 hours, above 4 hours every single day. So how to break daily study time? Example, 2 hours, can use it to go through the JAMB syllabus, things that that they are yet to teach you in school or you haven't even taught. Use the JAMB syllabus to go through it. You can use 1 hour to revise old topics that you've been taught from SS1 or SS2, but you've probably forgotten. And then another 1 hour in your study time to practice past questions. So past questions is very important. Anytime you are studying, create time to practice past questions during your study time and then revise those past questions. So like I already mentioned this, what are you using this time to do? To cover the JAMB syllabus, understand each topic, not just recognize it, identify weak areas early, practice real JAMB standard questions, and there are so many of them out there. Make and correct mistakes. So allow yourself to make mistakes. Don't be saying you are preparing for JAMB or you are solving past questions, you are going to check the answer at the back. You are just doing yourself, right? So build speed and accuracy, revise repeatedly, not once, and prepare your mind for CBT conditions. So let's move on to the next thing, download the syllabus. So Mr. Emmanuel talked extensively on following the JAMB syllabus to prepare. So how do you download the JAMB syllabus? But okay, before we go into how you can download the JAMB syllabus, for some of you that may not know, let's talk about why JAMB syllabus matters. Mr. Emmanuel already covered this, but basically it shows you what to study, what not to waste time on. And if you're studying without the JAMB syllabus, you are reading blindly. So every question that comes from JAMB comes from the syllabus. They are not going to ask you questions outside the syllabus. And the funny thing is, or the good thing is, the syllabus is also what is covered. Most of the syllabus is what is covered through our secondary school, SS1, SS2, SS3, right? So use the JAMB syllabus to study. So how to download and use the JAMB syllabus. So you can get the JAMB syllabus from the official JAMB website, right? At this website here. So it will be pasted, the link will be pasted on the group, so you can go there yourself, download the UTME subject. Then when you download it, save it on your phone or print it out. You can choose to print it out if you prefer, hard copy. Then for each subject, you mark the topics you understand, the ones you partially understand, or the ones you don't understand at all. So you first start by prioritizing the ones you don't understand, or the ones you've not been taught, or the ones you were taught but you don't understand, things like that. And then move on to the ones you partially understand, then revise. You could also decide to just follow everything from the beginning. So now this is a screenshot of the JAMB website, where you get the syllabus. So from that link, you can just go through this. So when you open the website, you would see this from the link. It will take you here. So you'd see, you can go to the dash. It will open. This is where it will take you, the dashboard. So then you go to e-syllabus. You can see where the arrow is pointing, e-syllabus. So when you open e-syllabus, you can already see all the subjects here, PDF syllabus. So then you select the subjects you want. So for me, I selected chemistry here, for instance. Then you click on it. So when you click that view details, it will open the chemistry up, and then you can click on download. Very simple. And then it will download to your phone. As easy as that. So there are some times that you may get an error. So while I was trying to do this, I got several errors like this: no document available, or PDF render not loaded. So when you get this error, just reload the page, right? Reload the page, and if it still doesn't work, then open another subject. So yeah, I was trying to open use of English, but when I opened accounting worked. Then when I came back to use of English, it's opened. So you can either do this or you can check from other websites, but I always prefer to get accurate information from JAMB website itself. So it's there. If you get this error, just reload the page, right? Then you can scroll down to the second and third page to see all the subjects. So your subject is definitely there. It may not be on the first page. It may be on the second or third page. I can see someone asking in the chat that how can I get the JAMB syllabus? That is exactly what we are covering right now. So I don't want to say, please listen and pay attention to the presentation. So this is an example of the English JAMB syllabus. I just screenshotted some part of it to explain what is going on here. So when you open the JAMB syllabus, you see the topics, contents, and notes like on the first part, and then the objectives on the second part. So simply what this is telling you is that the first part tells you the topics that they expect you to, the topics in the syllabus that they expect you to know. And then the objective is breaking down specifically what they are going to test you on, or exactly what they want you to know from that, from those topics that they mentioned. So you can see in this objective now for English, under the comprehension and summary, what they want you to be able to do, or what they will test you on for the JAMB exam, is that you should be able to identify main points, topic sentences, determine implied meanings, identify grammatical functions, things like that. So it will break everything down. So this is another example. I think this is accounting, right? So it mentions the topic. So if you do accounting, you already know that these are topics that you must have been taught: bookkeeping, double entry. So then the objective part, which is the second column, tells you exactly what they will test you on in different ways. All their questions are testing you on these objectives, which is gotten from this topic, which is on the first column. So you can see you need to be able to differentiate between bookkeeping and accounting, things like that. So when you are studying, you want to be checking against these objectives to make sure that you are covering these objectives, right? Same thing here. This is chemistry. Just the same thing. You can see separation of mixtures, chemical combination, and what they will test you on is clearly and clearly stated and detailed in the second column under the objectives. This is also government. So all the subjects, this is just to prove that all the subjects are there. Now let's move on to a sample of a 12-week plan to study for JAMB. So I created this sample using the JAMB syllabus. So using the same JAMB subjects I mentioned earlier with my target score, I created this 12-week plan. So basically, Sunday through to Friday, for instance, I'm reading, and on Saturday I choose to do a full mock exam. That's prep myself for prep myself simulating the JAMB settings, which is 2 hours, right? Then when I'm done, go through revise all the questions after marking myself, or the system marks me. That's revising all the questions diligently also takes time. So I choose to do this every Saturday. But then Sunday through to Friday, I'm treating each of the topics in the syllabus one after the other. So I actually followed the syllabus, and each of these, one after the other, covers the syllabus for all the subjects that I mentioned here. So it may be different for you, but basically, this is what you need to do. You need to sit down, get the JAMB syllabus, and craft a 12-week plan, or if you want yours to be 13, 14 weeks, because you still have about 14 weeks before you write JAMB. JAMB is usually written around mid or late April. So you still have about basically more than 12 weeks, but assuming 12 weeks, which is 3 full months, you can finish revising the JAMB syllabus and practicing questions every day. So for on Sunday, I'm alternating between two subjects each day. So I chose English and accounting. So another thing you want to do is choose subjects. Don't do too hard or too demanding subjects at a time, because it may just stress you, right? So I chose, maybe English can be quite easy for some people. For me, it was quite easy. And then accounting may be more demanding, calculation aspect and things like that. So when I'm done revising English, then I move to accounting. That's a bit better than probably doing chemistry and accounting, or chemistry and physics together. So that's how you want to alternate it. And if on some days you don't feel like, maybe you're done studying English and you want to study history instead, you can go straight to history. I'm just using this as example. So you have to sit down and craft your own. If you want this, if you want the Word document of this as the structure to begin with, you can reach out, personally, and would share it with you as part of resources for joining this webinar. But that's only, you have to ask for it, because many of you may not use it. So if you ask for it, then we'll know that you are very serious about using it. So you just have to check through the syllabus, the topic, each topic, put them here, and then you can probably print this out as your timetable, and you follow it diligently. And in 12 weeks, you're done revising. Every day, you solve past questions, and you feel, the thing is, when you prepare well enough, you feel confident, which is what you want. So as you can see here, this is the continuation of it. Week 6, week 7. If you see the English, I put that, okay, you read Life Changer. If you saw week 1, read Life Changer in week 1. Then in week 6, you have to read it again, because personally for me, when I wrote my JAMB, I've forgotten the text we did then in 2017. But by the time I got to JAMB, I read the storybook, I read the novel, right? But by the time I got to the hall, I think I didn't read it often enough, and I actually forgot. They were asking very detailed questions, and I forgot some of those things. I couldn't remember, so that's when I knew that I should have read this, often, several times, not just once or twice. So you'd see again that in week 11, okay, week 12, closer to the exam, you have to read it again. Don't say I've read it before. This one, you're not reading the book for entertainment. You are reading it to prepare, to be able to answer questions, and the questions are always very detailed and specific. If you don't read and remember all the information, you may not be able to answer those questions. So this is a sample of a 12-week plan that you can use to prepare for the exam in just 12 weeks. Effective. If you sit down, the good thing is, if you sit down to write this out yourself, that's already like a very a good step. I mean, a step in the right direction, because sitting down to write this out yourself, you discover the topics that are in the JAMB syllabus, and you already know which ones you should focus on, which ones you understand, which ones you don't understand. Like when I was doing this, I was so surprised to find out the things that people that do history are being taught, and I'm like, wow, this is very interesting, you know. So that is what sitting down to do this yourself will do for you, and that's why I chose this JAMB subject combination. You can't copy it, because I know that you cannot, nobody can do English, chemistry, accounting, and English. I mean, English, chemistry, accounting, and history is not your typical JAMB subject combination, right? So if you want to do this, you can get the format, but then you have to sit down and craft your own by yourself specifically, because by doing that, you'd have done like half of the job, sitting down to study the JAMB syllabus in order to do this. And it doesn't take time to do it. So in conclusion, set a clear target score and let it guide your efforts. Use your time intentionally. Syllabus first, then practice. So you're studying the syllabus, you are marking in the syllabus, okay, I've covered the subject, I understand it now. Then you solve past questions. If you see that you still didn't understand it, you go back, what's the issue? Revise it again, right? That's diligence. Finish the entire JAMB syllabus as early as possible. If you cannot finish everything, finish most of it. And the more you practice past questions, you know the areas that, the topics that more questions come from. That's the advantage of practicing past questions in every of your study time. Do you understand? So when you sit down to study for 2 hours, don't just do the JAMB syllabus alone. When you are done, set time to study and to practice past questions, because it will help you know where more questions come from, and you can focus on those areas, especially if you are weak in those areas. Then lastly, consistency beats motivation. Small daily effort leads to big scores. So every day, even if you cannot do up to 8 hours every day because of some of your other commitments, probably you are learning something, you still go to school. If you choose to do 2 hours every day and you stick to it, you will still do well. You will still do well. Yes. If you can do 2 to 3 hours every day and you are consistent with it, and you are practicing the right way, following everything that all the speakers today have mentioned, you will still score above 250, right? So that is my presentation, and thank you very much. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing for now. Awesome. Okay, so the emojis are coming in. Did you learn something from that session? Now I'm back to the host. That was me presenting. Now I'm back to the host. So tell me 1 or 2 things you learned from that session, and we'll move on to the very last one, which is a brief one for today, and then we'll go on to the question and answer session. So do not leave the call yet. And also in tomorrow's session. But right now, let's go on into the Q&A for about 5 to 10 minutes so we can wrap this up. Thank you so much to our speakers that are still on the call right now. Thank you so much for your time. So there are some questions that have already been asked, and I will try to, if some of these questions can be cumulated, that will be, or if you can redirect me back to those questions so that we can ask them and the speakers can answer live here. If you have questions, now is the time to ask. Okay, so someone asked about, since medicine is 6 years and I want to study gynecology, gynecology. How do I go about it? I think this will be directed to Mr. Jeremiah. Mr. Jeremiah, are you still on the call? Okay, if Mr. Jerry, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank
I
you.
was.
Yes. Oh no, network. Network, don't do this now. It's break, yeah. So did you get the question? He said, I want to ask, since medicine is 6 years and I want to study gynecology, how do I go about it? And he also wants to ask about the choice of university to probably study gynecology. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Can you speak?
Actually, I hope
I think the network is really breaking. So
you can
hopefully
hear me well. Yeah,
we can't hear you.
it's just that I changed.
Okay, hopefully
How
you can
about
sort that
now?
out soon. Yes,
Okay,
please go on.
you can hear me well now.
I think it's still breaking.
Gynecology.
Okay, so while he sorts his network out, let's go to another question that can address to Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, Modeshola asks, what is the biggest tip use, I can get on, I can get on how to stay fully focused?
Please repeat the question.
What is the biggest tip I can get on how to stay fully focused?
It's breaking. I did not get.
Oh no, why is network behaving this way now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Can
now.
anyone? Okay, so the question is, what is the biggest tip I can get on how to stay fully focused? We may.
Okay. Can she type it or I'm not actually hearing very clear. It's breaking.
Okay. The question is, if you can check the group, it's on the group. I can send it to your DM just immediately. Is Mr. Jerry back? I've sent it to your DM. Can you kindly check? What is the biggest tip to use to stay fully focused? Okay. For some of these questions, we'll just try to answer them on the group, in the group. So that it's a good thing you're asking on the group. Mr. Emmanuel, can you speak now? Mr. Jerry, can you speak now? Is the network better now?
Yes, I can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. The biggest tip you can get to stay focused, uh, I will just say, okay, number one, be clear on what you want. Be clear on what you want to write down, on what you want, and write to that clearly. That one will help you to keep you on track and help you to do well. Then avoid distraction as much as you can. Anything distraction, avoid it as much as you can. And another thing you need is eliminate what doesn't serve. anything that is not working for you, just eliminate so that you can be able to focus well, and that will help you to grow better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. The next question is computer engineering feasible with engineering, mass, chem? Okay, for some of these, we'll just try to answer them on the group. Engineering, mass, chem, physics. I think you are listing the WAEC subjects. You can just check the link. We'll send it again. The link that Mr. Jerry shared. You can check it. It's very detailed. You'll see computer engineering there and the subjects, WAEC subjects combination for that. What is the best choice of university to study law? Okay. I don't know if Mr. Jerry may be able to answer this, but for some of these questions, you can check online. That is why you have to do your research. Check online, and popular websites like My School Gist, All School, My School Gist, All School, and some JAMB affiliated websites themselves talk about the schools that are good for some of this, like for some of these courses, and they would mention why. Maybe some of the activities they do, the things they have, the reputation they built over the years, and things like that. So I think top of my head, I may say I also do not think there's probably one best choice. There are different choices. There are top choices, but there's not one best choice. Like there are many schools in Nigeria, so every school is striving to get better. Some schools may not be at the top now, but they are at a very good level as well that would serve you. So one that comes top of my head is like OAU, Obafemi Awolowo University, right? So you can check this online. So the questions you want to ask, you probably want to ask questions that if you don't see, you would most likely not see Mr. Emmanuel and Mr. Jerry again. You can also drop all of these questions on the group. We would address them. But then the ones I'll ask live here are the ones that if you probably don't see them, get to interact with them again, you may not get to hear their own perspective on those subjects, on those questions. So I'll skip questions that we can probably get general information online.
All right. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So concerning his question about he wants to study gynecology and how does he go about it? Now, a gynecologist is a doctor, so you have to do medicine first of all, right? So you go to school, to the university to study medicine for 6 years. Now, after studying medicine, all these things like gynecology, ophthalmology, cosmetology, cosmetic surgery, and all those things you would do after leaving the university. So after leaving the university, you do residency for 2 years, then you go to further for another maybe 5 years or 6 years in another university or maybe outside the country, right? And that's what they call specialization. So, like I said when I was talking initially, what you do in the initial phase, what you do in the initial phase when you go to university will help you become a general doctor, just a general doctor. Then when you're out, you now start specializing in gynecology, ophthalmology, and the likes of them. I hope that was clear.
Okay. Yeah, so basically you won't get gynecology straight up. You study medicine first.
Yes. Yeah.
Then then you would specialize in that after you graduate, right?
Yes. That's how it
Awesome.
works.
Thank you. Okay, so some of the questions are already being answered. I'll try to pick some. Okay, just give me some. Okay, someone asks, I have two course choices, mechatronics and mechanical engineering, but I'm not sure which one to pick. Mr. Jerry, can you address that?
Mechatronics and mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what I know, and this might not be 100% accurate, but from what I know, mechanics, um, those guys, they are builders, right? They have a lot of hands-on experience when it comes to like creating all this mechanical stuff. Okay, but when it comes to the rating in the academic setting, they rate mechanical engineering more. That's what I can say. They rate mechanical engineering more. But when it comes to like looking at the application of it, me, I would validate mechatronics more. When you look at the cutoff mark, also, mechatronics would have a lower cutoff mark than mechanical engineering. Yes, I think that's so. So, but you have to also make your own research. Ask specifically concerning the university that you're putting in for. Ask about their mechatronics and ask about their mechanical engineering. Also, it's very important.
Okay, thank you. So another question I've seen is, how can we confirm if the university of our choice have accredited the course of our choice? Do we necessarily have to visit a cafe? I
Okay,
think
so
that
the
goes.
question is, how do we confirm if our university is accredited, right?
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
important to confirm with the cyber cafe, like the cyber cafe or the your accreditations, your JAMB accreditation center, the place where you register for JAMB, right? You ask those questions. You want to know if this course is accredited in this particular university. They always have answers to that, so that's where you ask.
Okay. So you have to ask to the person that asked the question, for you to be sure, you would go to a cafe to register for JAM. So when you are registering for JAM, or before you register, right, you should also go to ensure to ask, especially when you are not sure. So the instances that you may not be sure is maybe for courses that they say they are new courses in some universities. You want to confirm. Then even for long-standing universities, they usually renew accreditation. So you also want to confirm that that course is accredited. I think you can also ask, just to be double sure, you can also ask from current students in the schools if they would do the work of confirming for you, right? I mean, that would have to be very serious students. Basically, it is important to know, so you should be willing to go as far as you need to get that information, right? So we have one here to Mr. Emmanuel. What main places should I focus on in English in JAM? Since you said that JAM English is what sometimes draws the score of people down. Okay. I don't know if Mr. Emmanuel can answer now. So we would answer the question on the group. But top of my head, you want to focus on comprehension and summary because it's compulsory. You'd have to write. So you want to focus on either you're choosing letter writing or comprehension. Then you also want to focus on the text, the literature text that you have to read, the novel, because very detailed question will be asked from there, and you want to ensure that you're able to answer those questions, because the more questions you get wrong in those areas, it affects your score. Okay. So one here says, I think a lot of the questions are around courses. We'll try to answer all of this on the group because we'll have to round off in about 5 minutes. But Mr. Jerry, to you, it says, if there is a situation whereby I want to study artificial intelligence, but there is no university that offers that course effectively in Nigeria, is it advisable to choose a related course like mechatronics and robotics?
Okay, that's a very serious one because artificial intelligence, to a good extent, one would want to start out with computer, right? Good knowledge of programming and all those things, how to write all those codes and all those things for artificial intelligence. But I think what the person is talking about is more relating to robotics. And I don't think we have a firm course on that in Nigeria. Yes, at the moment. Even the artificial intelligence, to a very good extent, you have to start from computer science. And it's not just they teach me computer science in school. No, you'd have to expand and practice wide, like exactly. So in Nigeria at the moment, I don't think there's a clear path for that yet at this point in time. Yeah, but you can't limit yourself to the standards of Nigeria basically. There's YouTube, right? You can learn, you can buy courses. In fact, free courses you don't have to buy. Free courses on YouTube, learn all those things. Personally now, I'm not a computer person that much, but I'm learning artificial intelligence myself, right? So it's a very good idea for you to not limit yourself to just the standards of Nigeria. But at the moment, there's no a clear path. There's not a clear path for that yet. But best advice would be start out with computer science.
Okay. So because he said he intends to study mechatronics at university level and artificial intelligence at master's and PhD level. So if you do your research more into mechatronics and it fits, you may consider that Mr. Jerry suggests computer as a starting point. But for any of them, because it is not the focus, Nigeria is still behind in that area. You will still have to do a lot of work by yourself to, knowing that this is already your goal, then you can start working on it from now, aside what you are taught in school.
But I think he has
Okay.
a defined path though. Mechatronics first here, then going further during PhD to do masters and PhD to do what's it called, robotics and artificial intelligence. I think that's a clear path already. That's a good plan. So you can start out with mechatronics here. It's fine. I just understood what he was saying now. So you can start out with mechatronics here now and then, but also build or expand your knowledge on computer science and how those things work. Then when you push further to robotics and I think it's machine learning he's talking about on that artificial intelligence and all those things. But yeah, his own path is quite defined. So you can go ahead with it.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is, please, if you're not sure of what to study, what can you do? I'm mentioning this because I think it's a real thing that you're not really sure. Your parents are the one pushing your friends. So where can I start? What can I do? This is what the person is asking.
I appreciate the fact that the person is asking the question because your parents and friends that are trying to choose a course for you, they're not the ones that go through the stress of studying the course eventually, right? So if you don't know what to study, what should you do? I think this one requires personal interaction. The person asking the question, it requires personal interaction because what did you study in secondary were you in? Let's start from there. Then let's say the person is in the science department. We will now look at mathematics, physics, chemistry, which one, or biology also, which ones were you very strong at? And then we measure from there to know, oh, this is what you can attempt, this is what you should try to attempt, and all and all. So this one requires like personal conversation with the person.
Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. So I think it is Ariyo that asks that chat uh you can chat us up, can chat me up, or any of the admins, and we can take that further with you. So basically, you need to sit down and now focus on where your strengths and weaknesses, and sort of try to make a well-informed decision. So even if you're not sure now, you're making a decision based on your strengths, so that eventually you don't, you don't struggle. Yeah. And then I think if you also do extensive research, you may maybe watching videos of some of the professions. You may see something you like, and then you can try to now walk back from there. What can I study now to sort of get me on the path to this to that profession that you like. So thank you all so much. Keep your questions coming on the group. We have our team members, every one of us, even myself, will be there actively answering your questions. If for any reason some of your questions are not answered, you can chat us up privately. So I already got some private messages. I can check online, confirm certain things to answer your question. I can send you resources. We can basically support you on this journey, because getting the right subject combination is very important. And I think we had a lot of questions around that. So thank you so much, Mr. Jerry, once again. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for this detailed session. So let me talk about tomorrow briefly and why you should not miss tomorrow. Tomorrow we are having another 2 great speakers talking to us. One is a top JAMB scorer. She consistently scored above 300 3 times. She wrote the exam. I think she wrote JAMB about 3 times, and 2 out of those times she scored well above 300, and eventually she scored I think 347 to get into the course of her choice, which is medicine at the University of Ibadan. So Princess will be sharing how she consistently scored above 300 tomorrow with us, and you do not want to miss that, because you're not going to hear a story anywhere else. That's just it. And then also we'll be hearing from another speaker who will be sharing with us on how to overcome JAMB phobia. That's what we called it, JAMB phobia. So if you're afraid of the JAMB, maybe from everything that you've heard, you've heard things like JAMB me, JAMB this, that, JAMB did that. Tomorrow we'll be covering how you can overcome that fear and prepare for your exam confidently. So you do not want to miss any of this, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much once again to our speakers, and everyone have a lovely night's rest. This video will be ending the session. Let me see your emojis, and then we can start leaving the call. I hope you enjoyed this session. We'll continue the interaction on the Telegram and what's I think Telegram group. Yeah, so bye everyone. You can visit our website if you want to join our tutorial. Classes start on the 15th of January. So you can leave the call. If you have more questions, drop them on the chat or send a private DM. Awesome. Thank you so much, Modeshola. Josephine was like a top engager in this session. Thank you so much for engaging and being here. Modeshola, Precious, Samitimi, Odion, Kwesti Ado. I mean, I'm calling these names because you didn't put your real name. Clint Wright. We apologize for shooting over the time, but we hope that you had a great time and you learned a lot. So I would go ahead to end the call when it's exactly 9:30. If anyone still wants to drop what they learned from the session, you can drop it and I'll just read it out. Or you want to drop your appreciation, because I see some people are still on the call. Have you slept off? Have you slept off, or you're on WhatsApp? Odofin Oyinkosola too was very active. Thank you so much. Paul, you are not active. I hope you will be active tomorrow. Black Hood, you are not active. I hope you'll be active tomorrow. I can also see Samuel, James, Do not miss tomorrow's session. Victoria. So we can leave the call. We have finished the session for tonight. Thank you all so much. Thanks to everyone that stayed through till the end. We appreciate your time and the listening ear you have given us and for paying attention. So all the links are on the group, all the links that were shared, they are on the group. So if you have more questions, you can always ask. Samuel, thank you. Oh, someone asked, what if I want to study in another country? Do I still need my JAMB? JAMB is only for Nigeria. You don't need JAMB for another country. I don't know if the person that asked this is there, but yeah, this is a bonus to those still on the call, I guess. You don't need JAMB to study out of the countries. Only WAEC. WAEC is accepted in other West African countries. NECO is only for Nigeria, but some they still have their testing method, but some I think it's still WAEC that is more acceptable anyway. With WAEC can be used in other West African countries, but JAMB is solely for Nigeria. You don't need JAMB, but please write JAMB in case. I mean, you can prepare for the two if you want to study abroad for your undergrad. You can write JAMB and also look out for opportunities abroad. And there are opportunities abroad, actually. These are some of the things we'll be covering in the elite session, package of the bootcamp. We'll invite some of the guest speakers actually studied abroad for their undergrad, so you get to hear from them. So if there's something you want to learn more about, you want to get into the bootcamp, you want to get into the bootcamp right now. But I love the question because it shows that you are thinking, the person is thinking wide, which is a very possibility. It is a possibility. Okay, so that was just a bonus because I just saw the question and those on the group, I mean, those still on the call just got that bonus. So right now I'll be ending the call so that everyone can go and sleep or prepare for your exam. Good night, everyone. Bye. See you tomorrow.